Hello, welcome to my kitchen once again here at Trails N62. Just a little video today on dehydrating kale. So I did some zuppa toscana soup base and it required kale in it, so I had to get some kale, and they didn't have any like fresh bunches of kale, which was okay with me because I got this right here, this bag of kale. It was already triple washed, premium greens, already chopped up and everything. And so I had a lot of it extra, so I thought, well, I'll just dehydrate it. Now when you dehydrate kale, and you don't have to blanch it or anything like that, you simply have to cut off the main stalk that's on it, the heavy central rib. You can cut it off if you're using fresh kale stalks. Cut out that heavy main rib and then roll them up and slice them up, or cut them up in the chunks, pieces. I'll show you in a minute how this came out, and put it on the dehydrator. I dehydrated about 125. You can do it from 100 to 125 degrees, 4 to 6 hours. It may take as many as 8 hours, depends on the humidity. Dehydrating always depends on the conditions that you dehydrate. There's no given set time on dehydrating. You dehydrate it till it's done. And so greens are a little quicker. I've done some spinach at one time. This is kale. Kale is supposed to be the big thing now, kale chips and all that kind of stuff. And you can take this, you can grind it up into a powder, put it into a smoothie, get your kale that way. It's got a lot of vitamins, nutrients, and all that kind of good stuff. I'm doing this because it was required for the recipe and I had some extra. And this, of course, already chopped up and washed and everything. It's the easy way to go. And well, if you've watched any of my videos at all, you know if it's easy, that's the way I'm going to do it, as easy as possible. So anyway, I've got this kale. It's ready to go, and like I said, be 100 to 125 degrees, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, 4 to 8 hours. It just kind of depends on the conditions and how high you dehydrate it, and whether or not there's any stalks or stems in there left in your kale. There are some in this. They haven't all been cut out, so most of them have. There was still a little bit in there, so we'll see how it goes. Let me show you the kale. I spread it out pretty thin on the dehydrator trays. I've already got it going back here, so I'm going to let you see it in the trays. I've got it. So I have it here in my dehydrator, and I use my screen to put it on. And I spread it out pretty thin. It's been going now for about an hour, maybe a little less. So as you can see, I had a lot of these trays, so I didn't stack it up too thick. Try to make it thin it out as much as possible. So the thinner it is, the faster it will dehydrate. And by thin, I mean not clumped together or anything. So there they are, and it's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trays that I'll be dehydrating. See what I mean? There's some of the pieces of stem in there, and if they're like this, probably what I'll do is I'll just pick them out as I go. See, they got nothing attached to them. But I'll just pick those out as it goes along, because those will take longer to dehydrate. And we'll see how it goes. It'll reduce down to just a little bit when you dehydrate it. We'll see what it looks like when it's done, but I'll probably just grind this up for powder, for a spice to use in soups and stuff, just to flavor it. Alright, I've got my kale finished up, got it dehydrated. There it is, a half-gallon jar. That's what it fit into. And so I've got dehydrated kale. I can add to soups. You can rehydrate it if you want to, but probably more applicable to putting in soups, and it'll rehydrate in the soups. You can even eat them as chips. They call them chips. It's kale, what can you say? So, but yeah, you can just eat it raw, just like this, dehydrated. Makes it a nice little snack if you're into that kind of thing. I've tried some. It's not too bad. So I did go through as it was dehydrating and rotated my trays and everything, and I picked out some of the, the bigger stems I don't know if you can see those or not. They weren't, a little closer to the camera lens here. Okay, they weren't dehydrating. These thicker stem parts in there we're not going to finish up with the rest of it. So I kind of went through and picked those out. And this is what I wound up with. Kale, dehydrated. That's it. Appreciate you watching. From my kitchen to your kitchen. From my house to your house. Until next time, God bless.